The goal of this video is to help you to improve your skills at integrating evidence to support a thesis statement in a short answer or an essay question. And the way I want to do that is just to show you a few ways that evidence can be integrated, to talk about which way is the best, and then to give you, I guess, an advanced skill that you'll need to really reach some of those upper bands or essay ranges in your questions. So to begin with, you have to start with a clear thesis statement and point sentence. You cannot give evidence without having a clear answer to the question, and to also indicate to the reader what text you're talking about, and to give a bit of context about where the evidence comes from. And you can see here that I provided a clear thesis statement and a point sentence, which is going to help me to set up the evidence that I'm going to provide, which is this evidence here of easy wind and downy flake. I want to use this evidence to support this thesis that self-discoveries occur through engagement with nature, and to support this point sentence, which is that when the speaker engages with the woods, it is an impetus for his selfish desire to abandon his social obligations. Now, this is just one piece of evidence. This whole paragraph would contain 5 or 6 examples from the text to support this thesis, but I'm just going to focus on one to help show you how you can integrate evidence. So there's 3 ways you can integrate evidence. You can summarize, you can direct quote, or you can embed some keywords from the evidence into your own sentence. So number 1 is summarizing. And summarizing is the process of rewording a statement or a section of text in a simplified manner. So if we were to summarize this example here of easy wind and downy flake, we would summarize it in this way. The speaker describes the gentle breeze and the slowly falling snowflakes. I'm rewording, I'm not reusing words from the quote, but I'm basically saying the same thing. The second way to integrate evidence is to provide a direct quote. And this is when you add a section of the text without adding to it or changing it. So you can see here, the speaker describes the snowy environment by stating of easy wind and downy flake. Here is the direct quote from the text, and there's a small introduction to the quote just to give a bit of context before it, and it's always separated by a comma. That's a direct quote. Now the third way, which is I would think the most sophisticated way, is to embed keywords from the evidence into your sentence. In the past I've mentioned paraphrasing, but I want to distinguish between paraphrasing and embedding keywords. Now, embedding keywords means that you select the important words from the extract and you insert them into your own sentence that will fit in and make sense grammatically. So you can see here, the speaker describes the snowy woodland environment by mentioning the easy wind and downy flake. Those are the 3 ways, and I think you'll find that 3 is the smoothest sentence, but a way to improve your integration of evidence even more is to do what I like to call blending, which is where you blend example and explain sentences. Now, essentially what we're aiming to do is to blend the evidence, which is your example sentence, and your own interpretation and analysis of the evidence to achieve a really concise and sophisticated essay. You'll see here the traditional way that we've taught you through the junior years is to separate example and explain sentences. So for example, the speaker describes the snowy woodland environment by mentioning the easy wind and downy flake, full stop. The use of kinesthetic and visual imagery in this quote reveals the speaker's awareness of nature by providing a favorable description of the woodland setting that surrounds him. Just so you know, or just so you remember, the explanation sentence, which is here, is trying to explain how the evidence connects to the point sentence. Why this is important is you have to understand that you're trying to start to make connections between the evidence you provide and the point sentence at the start. You are not explaining if you are just describing the setting or describing what the quote means. You're aiming to prove your point sentence. Now here I've basically just tried to shorten the sentence and compact two sentences into one, but still basically say exactly the same thing. And what you'll notice with this is that the sentence is already a line shorter. It's already 10 words shorter, which means that you're going to be saving time in the examination, and you're going to have a more concise and less wordy example. Everyone would mention to me that I like to over-explain things, and that's what I'm doing right now. And it's not the best way, but you want to actually just get to the point, and here's how you do it. So compare the differences between these two sentences. Here we have the speaker reveals his awareness of nature by using kinesthetic and visual imagery in easy wind and downy flake to provide a favorable description of the woodland setting that surrounds him. Here you can see that I've implemented key parts of the explained sentences before I've introduced the evidence here. And I've also provided key parts from the explained sentences up here after the quote. And I haven't used punctuation to separate it into two sentences. I've continued the sentence going. If you do this over a whole essay with multiple pieces of evidence, you'll find that you'll be able to fit more into less space and therefore show that you know the text in a lot of detail, but you're also able to provide a really concise and simple yet sophisticated argument.